On tonight's edition of Newswatch 18, chaos broke out as shots were fired on Capitol Hill.
And Bacon Fest is just around the corner. We'll give you an inside look.
And we'll have live updates from the field as ISU battles Texas. Showers and thunderstorms will start to build overnight, bringing in a chance for severe storms on Friday. I'll have all the details tonight on Newswatch 18.
Milwaukee.
Newswatch 18 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Newswatch 18. I'm Maria Lisignoli.
And I'm Molly Gheer. Thanks for joining us.
Chaos erupted on Capitol Hill today. It was a hectic scene as a young woman in a black Infiniti sedan rammed into the security checkpoint at 15th and Pennsylvania Avenue. Police tried to get the woman out of the car, but she instead drove off, leading to a car chase around the Capitol. The woman was eventually shot and later died at the hospital. The danger caused the Capitol building into a lockdown during the crisis. A policeman was injured during the chase but did not sustain any life-threatening injuries. The woman also had a 1-year-old child in the back of her car with her. Policemen say that they do not suspect any ties to terrorism.
ISU police have a suspect in the theft of 9 Iowa football players' cell phones and approximately $50 in cash during the September 14th Cyhawk game. ISU investigative captain Darren Van Ryswick hopes to solve the case by the end of this week. Changes in security have been made since the theft, including more security in the locker room corridors and keeping doors locked when they are not occupied.
Are you an inspiring entrepreneur? There is a new class offered on campus that brings in visiting entrepreneurs into the classroom to offer insight and guidance for ISU students. Shobha Premdamar, a senior lecturer in finance, designed the class to give students an opportunity to learn from those who have successfully started a business as well. And they can network and pitch their ideas for a startup. This course will be designed to expand creativity and improve originality. The class is open to all students, not just business majors. Check the Iowa State University website for more information.
Trouble keeps coming for government employees. After an independent prosecutor found probable cause of misconduct, Senator Kent Sorensen resigned from his District 13 seat. The prosecutor found that Sorensen knowingly made false statements while in office. Sorensen accepted compensation from GOP presidential candidate Michelle Bachmann for his position as the campaign state chair. On top of that, Sorensen is accused of accepting payment for switching over to the Ron Paul campaign. Sorensen has previously denied any and all allegations. The prosecutor's findings were part of an ethics proceeding.
Researchers at ISU are jumping for joy as they make new progress in data collection. Students and faculty have discovered in more detail where a protein binds to a cell wall. Researchers say that the discovery could one day lead to bigger harvests of biomass for renewable energy. The discovery of this protein bond location has been a major challenge in the past years, but became possible with the technology of a new and super sensitive instrument. Project leader Mei Hong said knowing where the expansion binds to a cell wall might help biochemists design more potent expansions to loosen the cell wall and stimulate plant growth. That means new prospects for Iowan farmers.
As part of ISU's Disability Awareness Week, psychologist Robert Kruger will be giving a lecture at Iowa State. Kruger is the Hathaway Distinguished Professor of Clinical Psychology at the University of Minnesota and will talk about how to identify mental illness. Cases of mental illness have often been stigmatized in the past. Kruger is part of a movement to help educate people on the realities of mental health. Kruger has been awarded the Distinguished Scientific Award for Early Career Contribution. The lecture will be on October 16th at 7 p.m. in the Great Hall of the Memorial Union.
Bacon Fest is upon us as this tender event reaches campus in just a few short weeks. This month, ISU invites pig farmer, tech startup entrepreneur, and computer consultant Carl Blake to speak about his quest to develop the tastiest pork. Blake has been working for years to craft the most delicious pig, and his efforts have earned him a spot on the Travel Channel's Bizarre Foods, as well as a guest appearance on the Colbert Report. He says that his secret to a perfect balance of lean meat and fat. The event will be held on October 18th in the MU, and it is free and open to the public.
Aaron Carter is making a comeback right here in Ames. Tomorrow night, Carter will be performing at the maintenance shop in the MU for the Ames community. Once known as a child pop star featured on Lizzie McGuire, Aaron is now returning to the spotlight after an 8-year absence. His new tour, known as The After Party, is now targeted at college students who grew up with the singer's original hits. The sold-out show starts tomorrow at 8 p.m.
So, Nate, it looks as though the Texas game is heating up.
Yes, I'll have a live update on that coming up after the break. You're watching Newswatch 18. Welcome back to Newswatch 18. I'm Nate Buscko with your Cyclone Sports. As we check into the current ISU versus Texas game, the current score is 17-13, with Texas leading through the stormy conditions. Texas scored the first touchdown within the first 3 minutes of kickoff. The Iowa State women's volleyball team bounced back from its recent struggles by defeating Texas Tech in consecutive sets on Wednesday. While the Lady Raiders hung around for most of the first set, the Cyclones went on a run to win the set and never looked back. Sophomore Mackenzie Bigby, who plays 6 positions for the team, was outstanding with 17 kills and a career-high 14 digs on defense. The team is now 2-0 in Big 12 play for the 3rd time under head coach Christy Johnson-Lynch and battles with Oklahoma next week. Women's cross-country team member Crystal Nelson was honored this past week as the Big 12 Female Runner of the Week following her impressive 2013 debut. Nelson placed 3rd overall at the 28th annual Roy Griak Invitational with a time of 20:50, and she even took the lead at the halfway point. The sophomore led the Cyclones to a 5th-place finish over previously higher-ranked Vanderbilt and North Carolina State. The Winchester, Virginia native was strong from start to finish. Nelson finished ahead of several All-American candidates, and the Cyclone women will next race October 19th at the Wisconsin Adidas Invitational. Iowa State running back Aaron Wimberly was named the Big 12 Conference Co-Offensive Player of the Week for his efforts in the team's 38-21 victory over Tulsa a week ago. Wimberly, a junior who hails from Snellville, Georgia, erupted for 137 yards on 19 carries, averaging over 7 yards per carry. Wimberly also had a reception and a kickoff return that both went for over 30 yards to give him more than 200 yards of total offense for the game. The Cyclones will lean heavily on Wimberly tonight as they continue to take on the Texas Longhorns. And that's all I've got for sports. So Corey, how's the weather looking like for the weekend? Will we survive?
We have some big changes on the way, including a chance of severe storms and some below-average temperatures. I'll have all the details next in your full Newswatch 18 forecast. And welcome back to Newswatch 18, everyone. I'm Corey Harguth with a look at your forecast. We'll get graphics up here eventually, but we'll start by taking a look at the satellite and radar. We do have clouds starting to build in the clouds are starting to build into Iowa, and we do have showers and thunderstorms just off to our south and east down towards Des Moines. It's going to continue to try and build its way up in our direction overnight tonight. But as it does that, we also bring in a chance at seeing some severe showers and thunderstorms moving into the day on Friday. Talk about that in just a second. But first, let's take a look at temperatures across the local area. We're sitting at 75 in Des Moines, 68 in Ankeny, 71 in Perry. Move on up to the north, 64 in Fort Dodge, and 70 in Ames. And we can... there it goes. Across the state right now, we are starting to clear out a little bit. Looks like over towards Sioux City at 66 degrees. More clouds here in central Iowa as those showers are starting to build into the area. 70 degrees in Ames, as I said. Winds are starting to shift as we do have a stationary boundary running right down through this general area here, with winds on the north side out of the north and northeast, and out of the south just down from Ames on south on the south side of that boundary. So here's that chance of severe storms for tonight. We do have a slight risk, this yellow region here, just on our doorstep. The green area is actually going to be a chance of thunderstorms, so the entire state does have that chance tonight. It's getting into Friday where things are going to get a little bit interesting. This big red area, that is a moderate risk for severe weather, meaning we have a chance for hail, wind, and even a few isolated tornadoes. And you'll see that it does dip down just down to Ames and up to the north. So it is important that you do stay skyware moving into your Friday, especially in the afternoon and into the evening. The risk does move off to the east as we move into Saturday with just a chance of some thunderstorms just off in eastern Iowa. So let's break down a little bit what we can look at as far as the storm risk for tomorrow. We have a high risk for seeing the hail moving into tomorrow, mostly early on, but we do also have that chance moving into the late afternoon. The wind picks up a little bit more in the afternoon as we look for wind gusts getting up to right around 60 miles per hour or greater. And then a moderate risk for seeing a couple of isolated tornadoes. They are very possible here in central Iowa during this very rare October event, but it looks like our best chance is going to be just up to the north towards Mason City. But like I said, we are definitely not out of the woods as far as the severe weather goes here in central Iowa. As far as Futurecast goes, there's our stationary front that is causing that wind shift that we saw just a little bit ago. It is going to move very, very slightly overnight, and then as it moves back, that's where our showers and thunderstorms and the possibility of seeing some of those become severe moves in as that front starts to move off. But then by about midnight or so tomorrow night, that's when we'll see a cold front starting to push through, and that's going to kill any of those storms as it continues to push its way through the state. And that will continue to push off and bring us mostly just some cloud cover as we move into Saturday morning. As far as rain totals go, we'll go ahead and add it up here. As we get into Friday, we can see right around 1/3 of an inch here in Ames. And by the time all is said and done on Saturday evening, we'll look for right around 1/2 inch of rainfall here in the Ames area. Looking ahead to fourth quarter and right around the end of the game or so, 79 degrees out at Jack Trice Stadium with mostly to partly cloudy skies. Overnight tonight, we'll look for 66 degrees with showers early and calm winds possible out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. 80 degrees for your high on Friday, and the storms will build. Some of those could be severe with winds out of the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday is going to be our best chance at seeing some of those showers and thunderstorms. I'm going to leave that at a 50% chance with your high of 80 degrees. We keep that chance around for Saturday, but like I said, it's going to be mostly off into eastern Iowa with your high of 61. Then look at that Sunday, only a high of 55 degrees, almost 15 degrees where we should be. I should say 15 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. Get back up to 67 by the time we hit Monday. Then we clear off for at least the middle half of next week, and we will warm things up back into the middle and maybe even some lower 70s. That's all we got for weather. Let's get back to the news desk.
Are you getting too drunk too quickly? Your glass may be to blame. Researchers at Iowa State have found that people tend to pour more than one serving of wine into their glass. The amount of wine poured depends on the size of the glass, the shape, and the color of the glass, as well as whether or not someone is holding the glass while you're pouring. Participants poured 12% more when pouring into a wide glass. The same was true when participants held the glass while pouring. Participants also poured 9% more white wine into their glass than red wine. And if you have any questions about what a reasonable serving size is, the researchers suggest that you should use a narrow glass and keep the glass on the table when you're pouring. And that is all we have for you on tonight's edition of Newswatch 18.
Make sure to join us live on Tuesday for more cyclone news, weather, and sports.
Have a great Thursday night, Ames.